Hey, thanks for checking out the video. If you all like it, please like and subscribe, and hope you all enjoy it. Have a great rest of the day.
Oh. Okay. Are they the same?
Yeah, the style is
Except
exactly the
size.
same. Now, for adult human, it's from there, 1, 2, 3, 4, to there. A gallon. And each one of these is a quart.
So were you in the medical profession yourself?
No, I am not.
You studied this later.
Yep.
You became interested in it later. Well, you're quite knowledgeable and fascinating. Interesting.
Very interesting. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So many things.
Oh, I love your little scales. Set of those.
Oh, isn't that
Mine are larger.
good way?
Well, typically I'm going to be weighing very small amounts of stuff. So
Sure, sure.
why would I get great big ones if I'm
That's
not?
right. That's right. Yeah.
My crutches, yeah.
Look at this picture.
The cane and the crutches.
1770s.
1770s.
1770s, 1780s.
So
Okay.
you're right.
I need one more thing. Black humors.
Okay.
Black humors are when you're hot and dry, you've got too much fecal matter in you. That's what this is for.
Okay.
And it's not to suck it out. It's an enema tool.
Okay. Whoa.
And the reason I wouldn't do it just once, and the reason is if you're impacted, I don't want you coming back to me in a week saying you're impacted again. I'm going to do it until no more fecal matter comes out to get rid of the impaction.
Okay.
Very
Been a while.
interesting. How long have you been collecting tools of this type, and where do you get them?
Collecting close to 30 years. Usually I go to garage sales, antiques.
Like the oath do no harm?
Yeah.
Did a lot of harm there, didn't they?
Well, no, they didn't. They weren't allowed to talk to each other.
They didn't know.
You okay, ma'am?
I got a critter in me.
Are you being busy?
More about it. It's about a 10-minute history lesson.
Game.
Okay. So, in the 18th century, we did know what bacteria was.
Okay.
Microscope was invented around 1720. We did not know what germs were.
Okay.
Germs were not actually identified till around 1820.
Okay.
And Louis Pasteur was one of the people who helped identify them, and he also developed a method to kill them. Yep. And germ theory, which is the medicine you work under, was not accepted till after 1870. That's after the war between the states. So we're underneath what's called the Greek humeric theory, where your body's controlled by 4 humors. The 4 humors that I was taught by my masters was by the color they are in the body: yellow, white, red, and black. Each humor has its own distinct symptom, so I know which one is out of balance if you come to me. If you're healthy, all of them are in balance, so you show no symptoms. Okay? So if yellow humors are out of balance, you're cold and sweaty. You have too much bile in your system. It's just like as if you have a just common disease. The flu. It actually increases your bile production. How does your body get rid of the excess bile? Yep. Okay. So if you're cold and sweaty, what am I going to make you do? Make you vomit. Now, typically I would use Ipecac powder. Okay. Unfortunately, Ipecac's only grown in one place in the world, and that is Africa. Okay, I've lost track of north, south, east, west. It's only in Africa. So, at the end of the 18th century, there's a small little conflict going on. At least to the British it's small, to us it's very major. The American Revolution.
Okay.
They're blockading our ports, specifically down in the south, since they're very dependent on imports and exports.
Okay.
Okay? So, it's kind of hard to get ipecac in from Africa. But since, if you notice, I have a lot of herbs, so I'm considered a backcountry surgeon. City surgeons would have a lot of pills. Because I have a lot of herbs, I also have one that I can use in place of ipecac.
Okay.
Apple seeds.
Apple seed.
Oh.
Apple seeds has 2 active ingredients in it. I'm after the arsenic.
Okay. Because I'd heard if you eat apple seeds, it's poison.
Yes.
So that was true.
Yes, it is true.
That was true. I always told children that.
Yep.
Don't eat the seeds.
Don't eat the seeds. Eat the apple, don't eat the seeds.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
So that was true. Okay.
So, arsenic, that's what I'm after.
Yeah, all right.
Okay? Arsenic is one of the few heavy metal poisons your body does react to in a large enough dose it evacuates itself. That's actually a lethal dose of arsenic for an adult.
The whole thing.
That's a
The
lot of
whole
apple,
thing.
a lot of apple seeds though.
So they would what? Have to swallow that all that?
Chew them up and
Well, actually, I would grind it up, put it into a little tea, and have you drink it.
Okay. Okay.
Okay? But as I was saying, that's a lethal dose. Now, if I just had arsenic in it, and you didn't get rid of it, if it was just arsenic, I'd have 2.5 months to get it out of you. But if you remember, I said there were 2 active ingredients in here. The second active ingredient takes it from 2.5 months to 2.5 minutes. The second active ingredient is cyanide, which is in all fruit seeds. Okay, that includes the tomato, by the way. Okay, so next humor, white humors. White humors is the largest of the humors group. There are 4 parts to it. So there's 4 different white liquids I can get out of it. First white liquid. Oh, I'm sorry. If the white humors are out of balance, you're cold and dry. Okay. First white liquid, tears. Well, I could punch you in the stomach, but I might hurt myself. I don't want to do that. So I'm going to be even meaner. I'm going to use chemical warfare against you. I'm going to have you peel and chop up an onion. Next one, sweat. Ooh, yeah, that one's easy. Just have you go run a marathon. Oh, no, that's too much work on my side because I might actually have to go out and pick you up and bring you back because you died. So instead, I'm going to wrap you in a blanket, put you by the fire.
roast you.
Well, you got to make you sweat. Third one, urine. Well, most people cannot urinate on command. So I have a little assistant again to help with that. Epsom salts. Epsom salts.
Okay.
I've heard of that.
In your century, it has a warning on the box. What does it say not to do?
Probably not to drink it.
Consume
I
it.
don't know that I've ever had any in my house. I've
So,
seen them.
yeah.
Well,
So you don't want to consume it.
right. We sometimes use it now for an injury to put it in the bathtub for soaking.
Soaking.
And that's actually its medicinal usage today. Is
Okay.
for sore muscles and sore joints. To soak them to help relieve it.
Right. Okay.
But if you take it internally, here's the problem. It's an extreme diuretic. If you're not careful, you will dehydrate yourself.
Okay.
Not might, you will.
Okay.
Okay? So, use outside the body, don't use it inside. And lastly, and I do mean last because I actually have to hurt you to get this white humor out of you. I take the blistering iron, I heat it up, and I blister your chest.
Okay.
Then I take the flame and I pop the blisters. Pus is the last white liquid.
But that's uncomfortable, isn't it?
Yes, notice I said that's the last one I would do. Because that one actually is very damaging. Next, red humors. Red humors are when you're hot and sweaty. You've got too much blood in you. Bloodletting.
No leeches, huh?
Oh, let me get to that. Let
Where
me
are
get
your
to that.
leeches? Oh, you're kidding. They're there. Where did you find them? In the creek?
Yeah, that's where you always get them from. So, because they need slow-moving water. Okay. So,
Plenty in years. Leeches in years. So
So-
they're still around.
yeah, they are. So I would avoid arteries or veins too hard to control bleeding. Go after large muscle groups like the 2 in the arms and 2 in the legs. Gives me eight possible choices to choose from. Okay? I'd make a cut and I'd take a half a pint of blood out each time. Now, I will not take more than 2 pints of blood out in any one setting. And the setting is a 2-week period. We realized if we took too much blood out of you, you would die. So we limited how much.
Like many did, didn't they? Yeah. They didn't know how much to take.
Well, actually, we did. But then you get people who are very controlling, like George Washington. You know what his death certificate said he died from? Pneumonia.
Which was not true.
That's not true.
I didn't know that. I've never seen
What he did is he called for a surgeon. He was hot and sweaty from the pneumonia. So they bloodlet him. There were 2 pints. Then he dismissed that surgeon. He called a surgeon from a different area. Didn't let the 2 surgeons talk, and he didn't even tell the surgeon that he'd been bloodletted. Took another 2 pints. Released that one. Brought in a third.
Oh my
He
goodness.
took his 2 pints. Released him. Brought in a fourth. He took his 2 pints. Released him. And brought in a 5th. And he died on the 5th.
So what was his logic behind this?
He was hot and sweaty. He wanted to get rid of the hot and sweatiness.
So he felt like that this was the cure, and instead it was what killed him.
It's what actually killed him. Because he didn't let the surgeons talk to each other. If he had let the surgeons talk to each other, they wouldn't have done beyond 2.
Huh.
That first surgeon did the limit that would allow. Yep.
Lost a leader that we should never have lost.
Lost him at a fairly young age. What was he, 68?
Well, I think he was only lived after he went out of office, what, about 5-6 years, something like that?
Something like 68 is when he died.
So he thought that he was